Okay, we have Pet World XXL, Pet World Extra Large in Diep River. It's a newer branch of Pet World, and this is now our South African equivalent of a big box store, as you Americans say. Very noisy out here on a busy street. It's the equivalent to Petco or PetSmart, South African version. Okay, so you can see it's a huge place, lots of doggy things and other animals, but we're going to concentrate on the fish, obviously. Let's look at the displays. Nice planted tank. There's a horned nerite snail doing his business. Nice carpet, thick growth here. And you see a lot of rummy noses and cardinals showing there. Some small angels. Nice piece of wood as well. This is of course a jewel tank. Good luck catching that ancestors in here. Your usual plug and play all-in-one units. Here's a Red Sea reefer seawater tank, marines. Some clownfish, some cardinal fish, cleaner wrasse. Solaris goby, if I'm not mistaken. Haven't kept marines in a very long while. And there's Dory, a regal tang. Blue chromis and a wrasse of some kind. There's a filefish, two common clowns known as Nemos these days. That little fish there I've kept before. That's a false grammar. It's not as aggressive as the royal grammar, similar color, very nice for marine nano tanks. That along with I think a damsel, blue damsel, and a couple of clownfish. Likes going into the nooks and crannies. Still in the setup phase, so not many tanks up yet. Your usual glowfish. Some silver dollars, and there's a albino tinfoil bob with a red eye. Make sure you have a big tank for this fellow. Fast movers, and they grow fast. We call them redline torpedo bobs. Some call them denizen bobs or rose line sharks. They look nice in a group in a bigger tank. Some live bearers, some swordtails, and some platies. And there's also some Busmani rainbows. quite nicely labeled with water parameters, tank sizes, along with the price. I like that. There's a big crown tail beta Siamese fighter there. And some ember tetras, nice nano fish. Some monos, brackish waterfish can go all the way to marine. Some Soeswassertang, very nice green color, grows attached on rocks, and there's a nice beta as well. Crown tail, those would be one of the more expensive ones, around about $300. Some glow light tetras, some bristellas, black neon. And you'll notice there's some aqua soil here. And there's a nice long fin bristlenose cat. And some ancestresses, not a bristlenose cat or ancestress, and these guys. Some Otocinclus, very nice little algae eater, very peaceful. Eats the foam like algae, the diatom algae. But you also got to remember, when the algae is finished, they often starve, so remember to feed them. I feed mine some blanched baby marrow, zucchini, cucumber. They won't say no to a Hikari algae wafer as well. And there's that long fin bristlenose ancestress type catfish. Nice lemon tetras, neon tetras. Guppies. And a beta. I've just been working on this tank. Big array of substrate and sand. Test kits, some aquascaping tools. They're still a little bit in the setup phase. You see there's some gaps on the shelves, but already a good array here. Another display tank. The usual glowfish. There's some GMO, white skirt tetras, white widows, and tiger bobs. I've got some of these Via Aqua heaters in my tank. They've been going for years. It's a cheaper brand, but they never gave me any problems, touch wood. You can see the prices. 200 watts. It's not a very expensive heater, and I found them to work well. I need some of these smaller air stones. I'll pick some of those up. They're nice in nano tanks. Obviously I like to put air stones in the sponge filters where I can, and also it's less back pressure on the pump. So if your pump is not that strong, they don't pump so hard to get through these small air stones as opposed to your more standard size and the way bigger ones. Air pumps, real big compressors for fish rooms, and the Tetra air pumps, which is known in the industry as the quietest ones. All air pumps are noisy to me, but I'll tell you something, I've got one of these tiny little crawfish air pumps on one of my nano tanks. Well, I had it until I changed it for an AC/DC air pump, but these are also very, very quiet. I, as to say, I've got to compare apples with apples. So I only have a very smallest one of these, a tiny one, and the Tetra APS that I've got is a bigger one. But compared to a bigger one, this is quieter. Tidal series. Look at the prices. These Nubios lights, I have them on my nano tank. I have some other lights on the bigger tanks, but I find them to be very good. It's a cool white light. Doesn't have all the different colors, but the plants go well with them, and they're not expensive. Here you see the price. And this one over here, I also have on my other tanks, a bigger version of it. It's got no brand, it just says LED lighting. It's a full spectrum light. It's got, well, not completely full spectrum, it's got the white and the red and the blue, and it's got different light settings and also a timer and the switch. Which one is this? I think this is a 60 centimeter one, just over 1,000. I still got them a lot cheaper. And then your usual Z light and the beams work. Fish bowls, not a fan. But we have a usual array of tanks. Here we are. Some starter kits. If you're a beginner, buy the biggest tank you can afford. You probably don't want a huge capital outlay. But I would go for something like this, at least a 2-foot tank. That's just a plain tank. That doesn't really break the bank. Here's your 1.5 foot tank, what the Americans refer to as a 10 gallon. I started with a tank like that. And then it just grew and grew. Let's see what else we can find. Some big pieces of mupani wood. Some bigger tanks. I think that's Malaysian driftwood if I'm not mistaken. Some vines if you want to replicate roots. Here's your standard 4 foot tank. About 200 liters, and in this you can keep most of your general aquarium fish. Too small for the really big cichlids, but you can keep a lot of things in this tank. It's a nice size. And you've got all these all-in-one units as well. Looks nice, but they can be pricey. Here's a manageable size all-in-one marine tank. Skimmers and everything at the back. If I have to do a marines again, I would go for this. I think it's just over 100 liters, probably around 120 liters. Smaller all-in-ones. And if you really have your ship coming in, here are the Red Sea products. Oh no, I lie, these are Boyu, but they're geared for marines. We've got the filtration all at the back. As you can see. Also all-in-one units with a sump already in. Then you can read that price. 17,500. Even have some reptiles there at the back. But as I've said, I'm going to stick to the fish. Big chiller. I think especially if you keep marines. That was my trouble with marines. In the summer, the temperature hit 30 degrees Celsius in the water, and the marines don't handle that well. I gave them to somebody else who had a chiller in the end. And this is going to set you back almost 17.5, as much as a tank. It's an expensive piece of equipment. Large selection of frozen food. And all your usual medications and sea chem products. Ocean nutrition as well, Ikari. Right. So not nearly as much fish as some of these pet worlds, but as I've said, it's a new branch, so I expect they'll get there. And you can do all your pet related shopping here. That's it from me. If you like this tour, please give a video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. That will help me get it out there. So to all you South African fish keepers and other wet pet aficionados around the world, goodbye until I see you again.